Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to BUS225 Week 9. We've got a busy week this week in this class. A lot going on. A couple of things you need to do. First off, your reading assignment. You're looking at chapters 4, or actually just chapter 14, applying and interviewing for employment. That's a great start. This is very helpful for those just getting ready to get out of college, to learn these techniques, to learn it's okay to be nervous, that employers expect you to be nervous when you're interviewing. The application, I cannot stress enough to you that when you write a cover letter, when you write a resume, when you fill out your applications, do not abbreviate. Make sure you spell out every word. Do not use local colloquialisms. Do not use contractions like can't. You spell out cannot. Won't. Spell out will not. That kind of thing. Don't use contractions. You spell everything out. Correct as formal English as you can make it is the best thing. In the discussions this week, we have there it is. In the discussions this week, what are the 2 difficult questions you've experienced in your interview, and how did you answer them? I always hated that one where, tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay, that has got to be the worst question ever asked in an interview. It is a question from somebody who's not prepared for the interview that gives you a little bit more insight now into who's interviewing you. But when they ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself, that's a horrible question to ask, and it's a horrible question to answer. However, they ask that all the time. People ask that all the time because a lot of times people aren't prepared, or they're never educated on how to conduct a proper interview to find out what they really want to find out. What are you going to find out when you say, gosh, tell me a little bit about yourself? Okay, what do you want to know? Personal, professional? You want to know a little bit about my shoe size? What do you want to know about? I mean, that's pretty vague. It's very wide open. You assume they want to know more about your professional side, where you've been, what you've been doing. That's what they intend to ask. They need to ask the question, so tell me something about your past professionally that you have done. That's what they need to ask, not tell me a little bit about yourself. Anyway, that's an example. So that's what we're going to hit on in the discussions. That's pretty good. That's a fun topic to talk about. Then you have a mock phone interview that I want you to conduct. Please read the directions carefully. You're to schedule a mock phone interview with career contact or with a classmate. And I don't care if it's in this class. It can be any class. Just conduct a phone interview. If you're interviewing for a position, maybe not in your local area, it may be in your local area, but they may want to vet you before you actually get to the office to do an actual interview. So they may want to get an idea of how you are, are you a quick thinker, are you slow to respond in a lot of your questions, which is fine too. But they want to gauge you a little bit by phone before they may bring you in for the actual interview. I have done hundreds of phone interviews. As far as when I was applying for positions, I have had to go on a bunch of phone interviews in my career. Be yourself. Be talkative. No one-word answers. So just let's go through this. Let's do the phone interview there. Make sure that you write down the name and the number of the person you will be conducting your interview. And let's get that submitted. That's 25 points. So do a phone interview. You can, matter of fact, I'll throw on there. Actually, you know what? Have the person that that's interviewing you, have them look up 25 best questions on the internet to ask a candidate, or 10 best questions to ask a candidate in an interview. Google it. You can find a billion questions to ask candidates on the online, on the interwebs. Ooh, having a hard time talking this morning. Now, down to the nitty and gritty of week 9. This is very important. This is your final exam week. to do your final exam week, I have been all term sending you reminders that you have a Zoom session. This is a live session with me this Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time that you need to make sure you are there. I cannot accept, I have work. I have been asking this since we started this class in week 1 and week 2 that you will have a live final in this class. You will take your final live with me watching in this class. You will need to bring a form of ID. It needs to be a state ID, whether it is a state driver's license or a state ID, photo ID, but it has to be a state-issued identification. You will do this by going to Final Exam Zoom session on this Thursday, the 24th at 5 p.m. You'll go to the Zoom session. There is a link to join the meeting under Final Exam Zoom sessions. There's a link there. It's https://zoom.us/j-2115327009. So you have to have video on your computer, and you also have to have audio. If you do not have the audio, you can phone in, but you cannot. You have to have the video on your computer. That's have to. If you do not have this, you will fail your final. 200 points. Please do not fail your final. 200 points. This is the only Zoom session we're going to have this term. This is the only time you can take your final, and I have to watch you do it. So I'm sure that's all explained to you before, and you've read this 100 times now this term. So now we're getting down to it. So you will go to Final Exam Zoom session. That's where you're going to start to take your final. Do not go to Final Exam. You won't be able to get there. You can't get there from here. I will open that when you're ready to take the exam. The exam will be open, and you will be able to see it at that point. However, don't try to go into it now. It ain't going to do any good. But you'll need to go to Final Exam Zoom session. Join the video. We'll start off in a big group meeting. Then I will put you in individual rooms on the video. Then you will take your final while I'm watching that. I can monitor up to 20 people at a time. There's not that many people in here. So bring your ID. I have to write that down on a form. I have to write your ID number and all that other fun stuff. I will be recording it from the time that you log in. Everything will be recorded. So it is going to be you. So everything is going to be recorded. Everything with your video or everything with your ID, you taking the exam, will be recorded. So much fun, so little time. But this is a requirement now for this particular class, so we need to get it done. All right, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. I'm happy to work with you in any way I can. However, the final is this Thursday at 5. Please do not be late. Please attend. If you miss it or you are late, you will not get to take your final. I don't know how clear I can make that. That being said, let's get on it. We've got a big week, so let's start. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Thanks, guys.